Hi, my name is Melanie Thorley and this is...
Chris De Santana, nice to meet you.
We're the two solicitors at MJT Law and we've got a podcast and here it is. Now today we're going to be talking about a few different things. There's a couple of really weird cases out there that have happened over the last couple of months.
Certainly. So why don't you hit it off? Actually, hit us with your best one.
One of my favourites is this refusal for an employee to be provided a desk at home. So this is a real COVID problem, isn't it? We've got an employee who's just bought a new house.
I think so, yeah.
And it's empty and he doesn't have any money and he doesn't have a desk and he's complaining to his employer, I can't work without a desk. And his employer's essentially said, no, we're not buying you one. Go to the tip shop, pick one up for $1 if that's what you have to do. But we're not supplying you a desk. Borrow one, I think they mentioned as well. Yeah. This is really.
I think they even said to go to Lifeline and pick one up.
Absolutely. So, what do you reckon? Okay, not okay?
Oh, you'd like to hope that they'd help you out a little bit, but certainly I think you'd assume that they'd have their own desk.
Desk goes too far?
Goes too far.
I think you're probably right. I mean, how many people out there don't have any workspace? Table, a bench. How many people do you think out there actually have zero workspace to work from?
Almost none, right?
Yeah, and look, how many of us, I guess, sit around and play on our computers while sitting on the sofa?
Actually, that's true. I mean, a lot of people do their uni work in their bed.
Okay. So I mean, maybe not as productive, but...
health and safety probably has a little problem with that, but
we've got a workaround, right?
I think...
Sit on the floor? Is that a good idea?
Well, I think the workaround is surely he,
borrows one?
He goes and borrows one or pays the $20 that it might cost.
The dollar it costs at the tip shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, the decision was that it was completely okay. This guy resigned, I believe.
Yeah, so he resigned and he claimed that he had no choice but to resign.
Because of their conduct.
Because he had nowhere to work.
Right, and the commission went, no.
Yeah.
This is a step too far. So I guess the lesson learned for this is if you're an employer, there's some give and take there. If you're an employee, try not to be as unreasonable as this guy,
Well, you can see there's a big difference between, for example, not providing you with a laptop.
Well, this is true. When we closed up for COVID, I sent everyone home with... We actually took the computer screens off the system, so we unscrewed them, put them back on their stands, gave everyone a computer screen, got them to take their mouse and their keyboard home, so they had those things, and I actually sent them home with their chairs if they wanted them. We just kind of arranged it. Those who took public transport, we dropped them off in cars and stuff like that. We just kind of sent them home with that, but they needed the computer.
Yeah.
So the ones that didn't have computers used the computer. I think you take the computer home from time to time, and others just use their screens with the extra connections and so on with their computers. But it wasn't in my mind to provide a desk.
No, and I think it just goes far too far.
How many houses don't have counters in their kitchens these days?
That's right as well. I mean, I think he had just bought a new house. I think it's fair to say he wanted his new desk that he needed, irrespective of whether he was told to work at home or not. I think it's fair to say that he wanted paid from his employer. Yeah,
this is not a good solution. The end result was he filed an unfair dismissal claiming he was forced to resign and the commission didn't agree. I think there's a lessons learned for everyone.
Mostly to him, I imagine. But so
you've got one, have you?
I've got one that probably on a more serious note, I think, and I apologise that we're going to take that turn. So a McDonald's franchisee got fined about $120,000, and I believe the manager itself also got fined for penalties. Now, what he did was he put on Facebook in the sort of a group that had all the employees. Now, bear in mind these were majority school-aged employees.
Yeah. So we're talking about employees who are 14 3/4 or 15 3/4, whatever that weird rule is.
They're 15 years old. They're
16 17, 18 years old. Still living at home. Actually have weird contractual rights there. Okay, still going to school, in fact.
Yeah, they're at school. So he's put on there, and I'll quote, so the 10-minute break that they get to go to the bathroom or to have a quick bite to eat, the only time they would ever be permitted to have a drink or go to the toilet would be their last time, and that he hopes to God you don't get thirsty on your next shift because we wouldn't be able to allow a drink. Fair is fair. Now, where does he go wrong here, do you think?
Okay, so no bathroom breaks.
No bathroom breaks.
What, throughout the whole shift?
No.
No drinking?
No.
Any fluids?
No.
Well, look, it's a no-brainer, right?
It's a no-brainer. And I think the thing for it, where it really goes to...
Safety issues on this is off the cassette. I mean, I think about urinary tract infection, for instance. Some people are more susceptible to it than others. I'm thinking dehydration, headaches.
You might be working a 10-hour shift.
The list is endless, guys. And we're in McDonald's, so it's a hot environment, right? What was the reasoning? Do we have any idea?
Well, the reasoning and some of the more pressing things that were said was that this struck at the heart of industrial relations system, and that it was gross. There was a gross power imbalance here, and I think the commissioner even went so far as to say it was despicable. So, pretty harsh language here, and I think it goes towards one of the bigger problems in employment at the moment, and it has been for a while, is the way young, especially very young employees are treated, and the fact that they probably just don't know their own rights.
Or they're too scared to speak up. I mean, these people are at school, right? So obviously it's been a long time since I was at school, and I would say a fair time ago as well, but you're 16 years old, you're at school, do you put your hand up if you need to go to the bathroom? What's going on?
I would have been far too scared to lose my job.
Right, okay.
Because especially if your manager is saying things like that, you just think they're sort of... they can do whatever they want. This is a power imbalance to the max, right? And it's sort of just because they're not earning a lot that their rights don't matter. Well, I'm unsurprised that they were penalised. No, I think they probably deserved every bit of that. It's pretty tough, isn't it? Wow. Well, I mean, I guess. But what's the workaround here? You tell, as a parent, you tell your kids that even though you're at work. What do you say? You know, what's reasonable? The solution here is education. Yeah. The solution is education. I've no doubt that the employer in this case, and most were well aware, at least to some extent, that you have to provide some breaks for someone to go to the bathroom. Fluid intake. But I'm not so certain the employees in this case knew, and I think it's probably the case quite nationwide. Yeah. So the real solution here is education. Now, how that gets done, I'm not so sure. Well, from an employer's point of view, if you've got issues with toilet breaks and people drinking too much, I'm guessing this is based on the fact that people are drinking a lot of fluids and then taking a lot of breaks. You know, I don't think it's a good idea to start restricting that sort of stuff, but it's probably a good idea to talk about, you know, workplace, you know, what, and if this gets a little bit too X-rated, the colour of your pee and what it should look like and things like that, because it's a work health and safety issue. You could easily put up, like they have in some businesses, you know, if your pee is, you know, what colour is your pee and at what level are you dehydrated and stuff like that. So it's more of an education for everyone, I think. And you could probably have a policy out there to try and keep it, because a few sips is going to be easier than large gulps, and a few sips is not going to get you into that bathroom trouble as large amounts of water at any one time. But look, I don't think any type of restriction on this is a good idea. No. I just don't think that's a good idea. Fined he was. Yeah. Wow. Deservedly so, I think. Wow. Well, I've got another mad one on my desk. This is back from October, so a little while ago now. And this is a commissioner saying an employer must not terminate an employee unless the employer's been given written notice. And he goes further than that. He says he goes further and he says there's no...
Something about there's no time. Commissioner concluded dismissal by way of text message was plainly unjust, unreasonable and harsh, unconscionably undignified, displaying poor perfunctory disregard for basic human dignity, very poorly upon the character of the individual or individuals responsible. If a dismissal is implemented by any means other than face-to-face communication, both legal and ethical basis for the decision to dismiss is likely to face strong, successful challenge.
That's a bit far, isn't it?
Yeah, he went on to say, it is a matter of such significance that basic human dignity requires that dismissal be conveyed personally with arrangements for the presence of the support person and documentary confirmation. Is this a bit archaic?
That's a bit old age, isn't it?
It's the commissioner, and it's an outlier.
It's got to be an outlier. I mean, think about how many employment relationships where they actually don't even meet each other. I mean, they're completely remote. And considering how many people are working from home at the moment, it seems crazy to think that the only way you could dismiss someone is to have a face-to-face meeting.
It does seem crazy, especially if that face-to-face meeting is across state borders. Basic human dignity, really? Is this where we're going? I thought we were in a world where we were more progressive than this.
No, so,
look,
yeah.
I'm not saying that it's always right to fire by text message. And years ago, for those who remember the guys up at the Port of Brisbane, they were all fired by text on the way to work. And of course, they all turned up and complained about it. So, there's a time and a place.
There are good and better ways of doing things, so...
But what if they're sick? What if they're out of the country? What if they're on? What if you're doing a 7-on, 7-off shift, and it's the off shift you want to terminate them, and they're not even around?
Well, don't you think it goes towards your previous relationship going forward? Like, if you worked in an office and you saw this person who's going to dismiss you, and you saw them every single day, and I suppose it's the same at the Port of Brisbane. You saw them every single day.
Yeah.
And then you get a text message in the morning.
That's weak.
Don't come in.
Yeah, okay. Well,
don't bother.
That's weak.
But if, for example, every roster that you ever were given was from a text message or just, whether you knew to work or not, came through a text, then I would think it would be fine to then receive a text to tell you that.
Well, this is true. I mean, how many casual employees are terminated by email saying there are no more shifts for you?
Yeah.
Or they're just not getting any shifts and they email the employer and say, where's my shifts? And they say, I'm sorry, there's no more shifts for you. I can't imagine how many. I mean, yes, they don't fit necessarily the unfair dismissal environment, but it does speak to that. I think text message is probably a bit too far. It's like, when you're 12 years old and you want to dump your boyfriend by text.
Well, but what's the difference between a text message and an email, though?
I don't know. It just feels nicer.
but you're far more likely to receive a text, I think, than you are to an email. I mean, a lot of people don't look at their emails.
This is actually true.
What about a Facebook message? What about? I'm pushing the limits here. But what about an Instagram message?
Well, yeah, a lot of people use WhatsApp.
Another one.
Fire by WhatsApp. Yeah.
The one that I want to see is someone firing someone through Snapchat. If someone
can only last 24 hours.
Actually, that's the problem there. But just a sort of a selfie that says "Don't bother coming in."
A little. You put up a little thing going.
Here is your termination letter.
It's in writing.
It's in writing. That actually Snapchat's good because you know that they've actually received it because you get a red receipt. So
the trouble is, it's not in writing in perpetuity. You would have to take a screenshot.
You would. Okay, true. But I mean,
okay, I get it though.
I don't know if that one would fly so much as an email would. But
I like it though. If anyone has been fired by Snapchat, let us know. I'm really interested in that one. Look, I don't know. It's a thing of the times. It's a first world problem. I think we've had emails for probably longer than you've been alive. I mean, they've been 30 years or so, right? I mean, this is a long time.
Well, everyone knows how old I am now.
No, sorry. That's very true.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I remember them when they first came in, so that's how old I am. But it's so we've had that for years. We've had text messages for literally years. We've got more our phones are little miniature computers now. So information is getting pushed around on a immediate scale, and this is one of the problems the news cycle has. Right? They put something down. They wait till the days of the newspaper. They just have to wait till the morning and bring out an early edition with the news. And and it would progress throughout the day. Now you can just jump online and find it immediately.
Yeah, it's...
So I think this is a thing of the times. Everybody wants information immediately, and actually this is reflected a lot in our clients. Obviously, we get clients who are in distress, and they want
instant information.
They want instant information, and sometimes we can't give it because we're not the ones in charge of that information. But it's a constant. Have they replied back yet? It's an email. I know they've got it. Have they replied back yet? And the fact is, it's we live in this kind of instant world with messages on our phones, and we've got this expectation.
Isn't there a sort of added benefit that if you're getting, you know that you're being dismissed via email, so you're probably likely to get it a lot quicker. So you're not sitting there at home, your boss has called you for a meeting to discuss your employment.
Yeah. And you're just waiting till the next day or the next week for you to turn up to be fired. Yeah.
And isn't there a flip side to it? It might be more comfortable to be fired.
That's true.
Remotely.
Look, firing someone is incredibly stressful as well.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that they might not be particularly good at it because they find it so stressful. Getting it right in a text message or in an email might be the nicer way to do it. I don't know. You guys might have an opinion. If you do, let us know. We find it fascinating. I think we live in a new world, and in the right circumstances it shouldn't be. This language here, in good conscience, basic human dignity, all this sort of language that they use here, I think it's a bit archaic.
Yeah, it's archaic. I think it's out of date.
I think it's a bit moving on. But moving out of law, those who know me know that I'm a complete nerd. Massive
we
nerd.
know.
And all things to do with space I absolutely love. So recently, as we all know, or hopefully some of us know, that the Japanese augmented a retrieval of particulates from a meteorite.
Yeah, right.
Fascinating. So 5 years ago, they shoot something into space, it lands on a meteor, such as it was. I don't know if you watched the movies of this 5 years ago or whatever, but you could see the pictures. It was very exciting. They pick something up, and then it comes back to Earth. With the
rock?
With the particulates, And I think this is fascinating. It lands in the middle of Australia, which was brilliant. And they're taking it back to Japan, and they're going to do their thing. How do
they've got space rock?
They've got a space rock. While it's in space.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that. A meteor is hurtling through space. And I know that they probably have these orbits that make sense, but surely things push them off these orbits from time to time.
Surely all the time.
It's a meteor, right? So it's coming from something that's moving in space and spinning in space. It's going to something that's moving and spinning in space. And then it's coming back 5 years later to the same spot.
So
how's that even possible?
Hang on, so it's revolving around the Earth.
Well, the Earth's moving.
Yeah.
The meteor's moving.
Yeah.
And they're also moving.
Yeah.
And they've managed to get something out, put it on this thing, bring it back to Earth, which is not in the same spot it was when it left.
So they would have had to calculate how to meet them in the right place.
Everything.
It's like trying to coordinate an Uber ride, but for NASA.
Yeah.
So hang on, this isn't the same meteor that's going to come and destroy the Earth, is it?
That's Apophis.
That's the one that's going to get us at 2060.
Yeah, 2060.
Right? It's not the same one.
No, it's not the same one. Well, that's
This is the second.
It's a different meteor floating.
Second death waiting to happen.
No. This meteor's not meant to be hitting the Earth at any time soon.
Okay.
It's just out there doing its meteor thing.
This is a nice one.
Meteoropothis, in fact, is going to have a pass through in 20 years or so, and then it's going to hit the Earth in 2067 or 2068. They're brilliant.
Well, I mean, surely by then
We'll
figure it out, right?
I don't know, but they reckon due to some weird effect where it's been drawn to the Earth faster, because it was meant to skip, it was meant to just miss, but because of the way our gravity works or something, it's actually pushing it closer.
And it's coming faster.
Meaning it's going to hit us instead of miss us.
You know the worst thing about this? You know,
this is awesome.
if it's going to hit us at 2067, I reckon we're going to start worrying about 2066. Remember that thing?
Think about it. You remember that thing that we talked about back in 2020?
Is it now? Okay. Time to do something, eh?
Well, let's think of if we can marry the two things together. If they're able to pick something up and take it to an asteroid and have something land on an asteroid. By the way, they picked up 1 gram.
1 gram?
1 gram.
Hang on, so I was thinking like...
No, it's a gram.
So like some dust. Okay. Well, good on them.
I know, it was like 20 million, billion, trillion dollars, I don't know.
to get 1 gram back.
Man, that must be worth it. But let's leverage off that.
Yeah.
Let's say if they can do that, why can't they land a nuclear weapon on the asteroid?
So we're to the 90s when we're just going to start nuking things. You're the general that sits over the button. Just doesn't matter what the problem is. It's just nuke it. Just nuke it.
Yeah, the old all those disaster movies.
Yeah,
where
you've got the short haircut, the very square haircut. The general sitting in the corner with all the badges.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe not a nuke, but we're not going. I don't think we need to go as far as this Wandering Earth situation. There's a movie I watched which I love. Wandering.
It's possibly the worst movie you've ever watched, by the way.
It's called Wandering Earth. It's a Chinese movie, and the Earth needed to move because it was losing its orbit. So what they did is on one half of the Earth they put all these rockets.
Yep.
And they are literally pushing the Earth out of the solar system into something else. And this particular movie was about it springboarding or doing some, spring off Jupiter.
Yep.
So it was just about that sort of part of it. But yeah, so I don't think we're at the Wandering Earth.
No, I don't think we need to move the entire Earth a few spaces over.
To get out of the way of this asteroid.
I think we can probably surely we only have to move a little bit. Right?
I don't know. How much is it going to miss us?
Well, surely we can just kind of think about, and without being too close, we can probably think about where it's going to land.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Because if you can figure out where your space rocket that's picked up 1 gram of particulate from an asteroid's going to land 5 years later, surely we can still predict 67 years in the future.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it just doesn't hit us.
Okay,
right.
I don't want 100 million emails, but it'd be interesting if anyone's got any points of view on this.
Yeah, let us know your science. The science behind us. Teach us some physics, because surely we are not the two people to fix this problem. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think you can all...
We're not mathematicians.
Yeah, you can probably figure that one out. All right, well, let us know how this podcast went. Mm-hmm. We'll be back next week.
Or a couple of weeks, maybe.
Maybe.
And getting close to Christmas, people.
And I'm sure we'll have some crazy new cases to talk about and some other disasters to avoid. Because that's what we're doing now. This is what our firm's about.
That's true. It's where we are now. Well, thank you very much for watching.
See you, Rob.
And we'll catch you later.